on, Grinders? It's D78904. We want to get all technical. It is Tricky Thursday. I am not D. I am Will, but we want to kick it off that way. D, over to you, my friend.
I was not ready for that, so it is Tricky Thursday. It's funny because I was like a second late, and I'm like, oh, am I late? And then right you pounced, and like you kind of saved me, basically. But yeah, we're talking tonight's 5-game MLB DFS slate. Crunch time coming in early because 6:40 is first pitch.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people. I'm not sure if you've heard this, Will. I don't know if you've been on the interwebs, but tonight, not just baseball, of course, we'll talk baseball. Do you know that the foosball, the NFL, kicks off their season? You're aware of this? I'm not breaking news to you here and there.
Bobby Boucher is back. It is football season. Foosball, Bobby. I'm so glad that we have that. I will be glued in front of my television. I'm going to be at high school because I have to participate in the concession stand tonight. Our basketball team is running the concession stand at the volleyball game, and so I will be. It's my night for concessions, so I will be there.
But as soon as,
it's going to be done in time for me to catch the game. So the last volleyball game is going to start at 6:30. So it just kind of worked out, Dean, because we'll be out today at 5:55. Either way, I was going to be there. The varsity volleyball game starts at 6:30. I'll be there ready to go. I'll be getting my free chili cheese fries and chili cheese dog, if you will. And we have really good. Oh, absolutely. We have really good sausage chili cheese dogs too. Sausage chili cheese dogs. So those are really good. I will have that. And we will close down the concession stand promptly so that I can get home and watch the Chiefs of Kansas City take on the Ravens of Baltimore. And quite possibly, Dean, they may win by kicking an oblong pigskin through a great big H. It will be most riveting.
That was spectacular. Well done. Yes, I'm glad you picked up on my foosball reference. I was very off the board, but that was nicely done. Chad, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Appreciate y'all still grinding the baseball. 6 months into the season, we're in month 6. Like if baseball tried their best to say we want to do whatever we can to make sure nobody's watching our games tonight, this is the 5 games they would pick. These are the pitchers they would pick. This slate, lipstick on a pig. This slate is gross, man. It is gross. It's just a 5-gamer. Mm-hmm. You have just as good a chance to win tonight as you was on a 15-gamer that has scores and has elite pitchers and elite hitters. So, whatever. We're all playing with the same, under the same rules, under the same potential pieces to throw in our lineups. But we're talking about the scenario that has to take place for Ronaldo Lopez to be 46% owned on FanDuel. He's going to be over 50% owned on DK. Cody Bradford, 40% on DK. Ranger Suarez, about 40%. We're going to have hitters in the 30s and the 40s as well. I think Michael Harris is probably going to be one of the top hitters on the board. Jorge Soler. Your Braves. It's about your Braves tonight as far as the hitters, but we'll kind of dig in that later on as far as our stacks. But, there's only so many things you can do as far as this slate tonight. And, I'm playing it. Hopefully, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like the prize pools are going to take a hit going forward. We'll see with football, but Thursday night football, obviously there's $1 million contests out there, and maybe just the really true grinders are still playing baseball, but going to give it a shot.
Thursday nights and Sundays for sure, and probably Mondays too. At least a small tick down. Maybe Tuesdays, Wednesdays will be okay, but even this week, Dean. For those of you that don't know, I know it's a baseball show, but I want to make it clear, and I need to check tomorrow's prize pool. But we're gonna have football tomorrow, also, Dean. We've got a Thursday and a Friday game this week.
Philly, Green Bay.
Yeah, which is atypical or not typical for how the season kicks off. But I do think it's unique for the NFL to do something like that, similar to basketball. Dean, kind of switching it up, trying to probably bring in new users or new viewers, new fans to the sport. And you could probably think, man, we could bring in new fans. Well, you take it international, and that's how you bring in, new blood into the sport. I think, here in the USA, most people love football, but being able to take it, throughout the world I think it's a really cool thing. So football on Thursday and Friday, a one-day break, and then we're back Sunday for a main slate, Dean. So I think it's a great way to kick off the season, and good games too, right? Like we're not getting, the I don't know, the Steelers and the Chargers. Like we're not getting that. We're getting, two what we feel are bona fide contenders to kick off the season in both games. So very exciting stuff. Very exciting stuff.
I was curious how many Brazilians have played in the NFL. Cairo Santos, the kicker for Kansas City, is Brazilian. Looks like I think it's all kickers. Unless I'm missing.
Listen, Harrison Butker has that job now.
Soccer being really popular.
Vacating it.
Say it again.
I said, well, Cairo did kick for them. I said, but Harrison Butker owns that job now, and I don't think he'll be vacating. Yeah. They just gave him an extension.
No, I think it's just like historically players that Brazilian-born players that have
Cairo kicked for the Bears also, if I'm not mistaken.
I think he bounced around a little bit. All right. By the way, I don't know if you are plugging your show tomorrow night, but you are going to be on with Chop at 7:40. 7:40 tomorrow night, talking at the Brazil Green Bay game. They're an hour ahead, so like local time, it's like 9:15 or so when that game kicks off over there in Brazil. Tonight, you guys get Chop and Squirrel at 7:40, taking you all the way up the lock as far as the showdown. There is a Millie Maker out there, but again, 5-game baseball slate we're going to be focusing on. And I believe coming in after us, Carty and TJ, as well as chief mineralogist Kevin Roth. Also, you said it's a what did you say? What kind of Thursday did you say it was? A throw-off Thursday? What was the term you used?
A tricky Thursday.
It's also not just a tricky Thursday, but it is a Fleet Thursday. It's Fleet Thursday, Will. This is where the chat can get a week free of RG Premium. Good time to pay for RG Premium. Good time, even better time to win it. Get yourself some RG Premium. How do you win it? Well, you tell me what athlete we're talking about. I got 5 individual clues. We're going to go ahead and drop the very first clue right now. Every clue, you get one guess, just one guess. You cannot multi-enter your guesses. Where do you put your guess? You put it in the Discord channel, RotoGrinders.com/Discord, into the live stream chat channel. And yes, Mr. Richard was very upset. Clue number 1 better not be retired. Hey, look, we're no more baking it. Nobody's getting this on one clue anymore. They refuse.
We have used retired multiple times, though, Dean, and I know this.
Well, this is just basically saying this person's no longer playing. It eliminates a lot of. Now you know it's not. You know it's not Stephon Diggs. If you're thinking it was him, you can cross him off the list. As far as I know, he's not retired.
Thursday, and we must kick it off with a retired clue. Retire.
Yeah, Derek says clue number 1, athlete. Again, I'm just giving you a time period. I'm just letting you know this player no longer is getting paid professionally to play sports. That's all. Well, I guess
that's good, Derek.
This Thursday.
Listen, Derek, that's fantastic. I love it. Clue number 1, athlete. I love it. Clue number 2, retired.
I want to see if anybody's actually guessing or they're just like not even bothering. There is some guesses being thrown out there. Jerry Rice, Ed Reed, Joe Montana. Nobody got it. It's not Lynn Dickey. It's not
Sanders.
Tom Brady. It's not.
Carmelo Anthony. Recent retiree.
I didn't say recent, to be clear. I did not say recent.
I know.
And it's J3. J3 is guessing. J3, you know better. Your official guesses will only be counted in the Discord channel if you get it correct. And I'm not saying if you did or you didn't. You're
Rose.
Guessing Air Bud. It's not. It could be Pete Rose. Theoretically, he has retired. And it's
Ken
not.
Griffey
It's
Jr.
not. Again, it's there's a large array of options.
Guys,
as far as
that's what happens when we get the generic retired.
Gregoris Dawai says Butterbean, which is a spectacular entry.
Oh man!
Remember,
the boxer. Come on now, Dean.
Eric Esch, I think is. Why do I know that his name is Eric Esch? Like, why is that in my brain? I could have something useful in there, but no, I don't. I just know that Butterbean's real life name is Eric Esch.
And Eric Jokic is a pitcher this season in the KBO. He has been for a little while. Switch teams. I think
did not know that
for Kia this season, the Kia Tigers. I think that's who he's actually pitching for the season. I could be wrong. He was with the NC Dinos, but I think he's with the Kia Tigers this season. Or either
is there like 2 different teams named Dinos? Am I wrong to say there's 2 different teams named Dinos? Or
not. There's only one in the KBO.
Okay, I thought there was one nickname it was like doubled up on. But maybe I'm wrong in saying that. All right. Steve is suggesting Moonlight Graham, which is a nice shout out to Field of Dreams. And I think, did he only get one at bat, or did he never actually officially? I don't recall now. It's been a while since I've seen Field of Dreams.
Yeah, JP says I like Korean baseball. I do like Korean baseball. I mean, I still follow it to this day. It's actually pretty fun stuff. Like if you track it, it's pretty cool. I like their baseball jersey. That's what I need to do.
At their All-Star event, and they seem to have like a great time in the stands too. I would love to go to a Korean baseball game. Obviously, you got to leave the house for that and put on pants, but it's a far ways away. If it was playing in my backyard, though, I'd be all over it. It'd be awesome. But they have that bunt contest at the All-Star game. And you ever see the skills? That looks kind of fun. I don't know, at least in theory. Anyway,
yeah, I mean, it's a cool little league, man. Cool. You think I'd be in the Nippon also, but I haven't been able to get in that. But KBO, probably because I played so much of it in COVID, I just kind of stuck with it. All right, Dean, we filled up about 10 minutes of intro, and trust me, folks, we will get through this 5-game slate as football comes up.
Well, who's coming with me? You want to go on a road trip and check out a KBO game? You with me?
Hey, I'm down.
We'll blog it. Maybe RG can back us. Probably not. we gotta get a meeting and then pitch that. We're gonna bring RG worldwide for sure. Okay. 5-gamer. We have all the lineups with the exception of Detroit, unless Detroit just came out. Did Detroit just come out? It did not, but we have all the lineups otherwise. Everybody else we have as far as who's playing baseball, pitchers, not spectacular. We'll talk hitters in a second. Your Atlanta Braves are going to be the most popular team on the slate. Definitively, if not Atlanta, Philly, it's Atlanta and Philly. We do have Bryce Harper in there. He left yesterday's game. He is back tonight. Atlanta's got a 5 total, minus 300. Austin Gomber, who's been reverse splitsy this season and last season, which I think is worth noting for the lefties there in Atlanta. But, you want to give me the overview before we talk about some pitchers specifically? Philly almost a 5 total. Bad ballparks. Not the weather's not great anywhere. I guess the Atlanta ballpark's fine, but just nothing really screams like this is a lot of fun. But you got to fill out a roster. You fall into a couple homers, and that's that. But maybe you see us otherwise. Maybe you have a definitive stand. I have one big stand in this slate, which I'll talk about later, and it's very, very specific. But you tell me, how are you seeing this slate before we kind of dig in and talk about our pitchers?
Well, I mean, I think overall, you've got enough. And hear what I'm saying. I'm not saying anyone is elite at pitcher, Dean, but I think the matchups, are going to inflate a lot of the pitcher ownership. And then I think there's plenty of hitting on this slate, despite what it looks like for a 5-game slate, Dean. I think there's tons of options for hitting today. And I don't think we always see that on a 5-game slate. A lot of times I feel like we're trying to scrounge and, kind of find a vomit stack. But I think there are plenty of good teams that we can utilize tonight in pretty good spots. And so I think you take that how you will. You find the pitchers you like, and then you find some offenses you like, and you put that puzzle together. But I like this slate for a 5-gamer. I think it's pretty cool.
Shout out to chat. I see Eric in chat, and he was touting Griffin Canning last night, who the Angels, I believe, they didn't shut out the Dodgers. They beat them 10-1 or 10-2. Eric, did we win anything last night with Griffin Canning? Because I don't think anybody ever was in the Dodgers because they had a 6 total, and the weather was pretty good too. Only worked one side. I'm curious if you took anything down, if you paired them with the right offense. But Derek says he's officially done stacking the Dodgers. Well, I mean, look, if you're playing this game every single day, you're playing 200 slates or so. If you just said I'm done playing a team because they disappointed me, well, if that's the rules, you're going to run out of teams really, really quickly. You're going to run out of teams in the second month of the season, if not earlier. So you really can't have, say, do you have a never again list, Will? Never again is really. I know I'm taking it literally when people say never again, but there's a few players. Nicky Lopez, I just never want to play. Just some guys, but
I have some in the NBA. It used to be Aaron Gordon when he was playing for the Orlando Magic. I mean, Dean, he made a strong list. I just did not play. For me right now this year, that guy's been Brady Singer. Okay. I don't care how. I just do not click the button. I don't get him right. You know, he's in a great spot against the Tampa Bay Rays. He gives up 10 runs in 2 innings. He's in the worst spot of all time against Cleveland. He gets 12 strikeouts, goes 6 innings. He faces the Detroit Tigers. He goes 3 innings, 5 strikeouts, gives up 2 runs in 95 pitches. He faces, the Dodgers, the Phillies, the Mets, the Padres, any low strikeout team. He's got 15 strikeouts, goes complete game shutout. I'm exaggerating, but boy, Brady Singer has been a terrible roster for me this season. And so I think about 2 months ago, Dean, I just quit adding him to any rosters. I just quit trying to get props in on him. Just didn't work out for me. I've slept a lot better at night.
Thomas says, I will never play Bailey Ober. Eric said Lopez homered last night at 22-1. Yeah, that's pretty funny. I did see him homer. I didn't see the odds. Mr. Gerg, never play Miguel Rojas. J3 PJ Tucker, just standing in the corner and playing his 25 minutes in the corner with 1 shot. By the way, this is off the board, but I just saw this pop up on my Twitter feed. If you're looking, this is not financial advice, but like if you're looking for tomorrow night, well, put this in your back pocket. So tomorrow night, the Eagles, they got a hotel closer to Sao Paulo Stadium. The Packers, on the other hand, they're going to have a game time commute that is estimated between 1.5 and 2 hours based upon traffic. That seems like a terrible idea. I don't know. Why would you? That just doesn't seem good.
Case, I just drive up for like walkthrough, and I'd never leave the facility. Like I'd get an air mattress or something and say, "Hey guys, look, not going anywhere."
I mean, if I'm debating between do I want to bet the Philadelphia or the Packers, that's a tiebreaker for me if I need a tiebreaker. I think I was letting Philly anyways. All right, let's go ahead and drop the second. Nobody got it. Nobody got Fleet Thursday in the first clue, as far as I can tell. Nobody got it. I'm retired. So, it's not the sharpest crowd, apparently. It is also not Frank Burkowski, which was throwing out there some random names being thrown. But let's go ahead and drop the second clue before we start talking a little bit of baseball as far as the slate. Second clue, this might get people there. I don't know. Is barbecue, BBQ.
Oh, retired. Shaquille O'Neal. Barbecue chicken. Oh, yes. That may or may not be the correct answer. We shall see. I don't know.
Shaq is retired. But that's good. I like that. I mean, it's fun. It's all fun until you actually get it. And if you get it, it's like, oh, no, what happened to the game? Okay. Let's dive in. Is Ronaldo Lopez worth the 46% ownership on FanDuel? Is he worth the 50% ownership on DK? Cody Bradford, 40%, Suarez, 38%. That's, basically like 2 out of those 3 guys are going to be a big chunk of people's rosters on DK. I think the next guy, and it's Martin Perez, cheap enough at 22%. Some of the better hitters for Detroit, they are lefties. No lineup just yet for Detroit unless it's popping out. Nope, still waiting for it. Lopez, your boy Lopez has been very lucky this year. Like if he pitched enough innings, he would have the lowest ERA in baseball by like a half a run. I think Chris Sale officially, as far as innings, if you hit the threshold, he's got the lowest ERA like 2.56. Lopez is a 2 ERA and he's got a 3.91 SIERA, so he's been lucky, right? The home run, the fly ball at 6%. But is Colorado the team that's going to summon the regression monster? Probably not.
That's the thing. We don't think so. Not literally, I mean, it's possible with anyone, right? Like any bad team can pound any good pitcher any day of the week. But I just don't feel like that day is today.
Sweet baby Ray Lewis isn't a spectacular guess. It's very, very clever.
That was really good, Dean. I don't see that, but like that's incredible. Whoever did that, you deserve a.
Well, the barbecue sauce, Sweet Baby Ray's. Sweet Baby Ray's, the barbecue sauce.
Yeah. Dean, obviously, I grill out all the time, or I like to.
I think you said you don't see that. I thought you were saying like you weren't really sure they got there, but
no. I was saying I didn't see what I was trying to let you know was I didn't see it, but like that's a real good spinoff. Good play on words. Good pun.
All right. So
Of course it was.
I'm going to play Lopez. I'm going to play some Cody Bradford. Suarez, the tricky part with him, a little bit of the tricky part as far as the pitch count. They haven't pushed him so much of late, but again, he's facing the Marlins. The Marlins are horrendous. The ballpark is great. So, and like, again, you got to roster 20% of these dudes. And, you know, we're talking about Gomber and Casey Mize, War Eagle, Bailey Falter, Jake Irvin. It's a who's who of players you don't want to roster as far as the pitchers.
Let me say this. I do have 5 pitchers in my pool today. And it's Lopez, Suarez, Irvin, Bradford, Martin Perez. That's it. Like, I'm not reaching. I'm just, you know, I'll have some lineups that probably have Bradford, Perez. You get what I'm saying? Just you get 2 cheap pitchers, and perhaps Bradford gets 20 and perhaps Perez gets 16 today, and the bats go off, and all of a sudden, you know, you've got yourself a winning lineup. Most likely, I'll probably have one of the 9K guys paired with one of the 7K guys. Like, that's probably my optimal strategy for myself personally today. But all in all, those are the 5 I'm rolling with.
This Colorado lineup collectively versus righties this season has struck out 27.9%. You look at plate IQ, one player, Charlie Blackmon, who has very little power these days against righties, 146 ISO. One player is in the green as far as strikeouts, and his is just 19.2%, which is still not great. Everybody else is like in the 20s and the 30s. Jordan Beck at 34%, Toglia at 34%. It really looks like it sets up well for Lopez. And we don't talk a lot about like win points, but he's a minus 300 favorite. We'll take those win points. You know, we can use those win points. So I know he's super popular, and if you're running 150 in big tournaments, sure, you can get off him. You can even play some Colorado on the other side. I build my lineups basically with single entry, 3 entry max in mind. So I will take this chalk. Your second favorite, you mentioned your pool. Is Bradford your favorite? The second favorite, you prefer him over Suarez? Is it kind of a coin toss? You mentioned Irvin. Good leash. We're expecting him, if he's pitching well, he's got a pitch count of around 100 pitches. We also have some umpire stuff out there as well. Let me see if that's – I was looking at that earlier. One extreme pitcher's umpire, and that's for Martin Perez. Martin Perez and Casey Mize. So we just have the Detroit lineup, by the way, as well. Will, I'll just go ahead and run that off. Bierling, Ibanez, Green, Malloy. Malloy is batting cleanup. Wow. Rogers, Torkelson, Keith, Kreidler, and Meadows. That is your Detroit lineup tonight. If you want to expand on that, as far as you mentioned your pitching pool, but is there big stands as far as ownership wise, or just you're basically going to be with the field?
Well over the field on Lopez. I know his pitch count is not the same, but man, does he have? I feel like tremendous strikeout upside here. Well over the field on Martin Perez, because he's just a cheap guy that I think, you know, could possibly put up 16, 17 fantasy points, 20 on his best day, Dean. 20 on his best day. Facing Detroit, you know, pretty close to the field on Bradford and Suarez.
Want to see if have they captured the lineup just yet on Lineup HQ, on the Plate IQ? Not just yet, but it should be coming out shortly. Derek is talking about some weather stuff. Yeah, I was looking at Weather Edge. The only thing I saw weather-wise was Colorado, Atlanta. Roth updated that to straight green. Nothing more than a raindrop or 2 at worst. Probably not even that. And I had see if anything changed as far as Weather Edge. There wasn't really anything of note that I saw earlier. I mean, the San Diego is just really, really small sample, but looks pretty uneventful. Pittsburgh, pretty neutral. San Fran, slightly positive. Well, wait a second. San Fran, I'm going backwards. That game already happened, right? I think Snell only pitched an inning. He threw 40 pitches in the first inning. Who would have guessed that Blake? I assume he was wild. I don't know. I did not play the early slate, but man, that dude is just what a headache. The variance on Snell is bizarre. All right. Anything else we want to hammer home as far as pitchers? Again, it's pretty clear cut here. Well, we can move on and talk about hitters.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear cut for sure. You know, once again, and it's also a 5-game slate, folks. So we're not trying to, you know, drag this thing out. Like I like who I like, Dean. I'm targeting who I'm targeting, and that's it. Like I'm not really sweating, any of these random outcomes. Like for instance, I know Eric says, time to fade the chalk. He's going to be playing basically the pitchers opposite the good offenses, and I get the fact that they're cheap, but like you don't have to do that. Like that you don't have to do that. You know what I mean? You can.
Everything doesn't have to be. Yeah, you can embrace some chalk. It's okay.
Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
He said Jake Irvin makes sense. You had Irvin in your pool. I think Irvin's playable. He's my fifth guy. Yeah.
Lopez, Suarez, Irvin, Bradford, Perez. Those are my 5, which is probably everybody's 5. Like so, I'm not providing anything earth shattering today. Like those are just the guys that I plan on using.
Well, clue number 3. I see J3 is asking for producer Steve to make a cameo. I don't know if he's camera ready or not, but he can definitely drop the clue for us. Clue number 3, get yourself a week free of RG Premium. Tell me what athlete I'm talking about. Clue number 3 is crab cakes. Crab cakes. Retired, barbecue, crab cakes. Jump in the Discord and let me know what athlete you're talking about. Now, if you know it, if you legit think you know it, type it in the chat. Like type it in the private chat.
Like had Jameis Winston retired, this would have been a perfect one for him. But he's not
crab
retired.
Legs, right? Yeah.
No, I know. But I'm saying he is in fact a backup for the Cleveland Browns. For those that don't,
he's going to be the starting quarterback for Cleveland by week 8. Bold proclamation. I'm not joking.
And our good friend Joe Flacco, who pretty much reinvented himself, and the rest of last season, he actually didn't reinvent himself. He just played the same old Joe Flacco style, gunslinger pushing the ball down the field. He's actually in Indianapolis. How about that?
Yeah. I heard a stat today, by the way. This is bonkers. I don't want to get it wrong, but I'm fairly certain this is right. Oh, well, do you want to guess? I'm leading the witness here. But how many games do you think Anthony Richardson has played starting quarterback, high school and college, and NFL?
I think
it was high school, college, and NFL.
All right, Dean. I think he played 3 or 4 last year in the NFL. I think it was somewhere around there. No more than 5, I don't think. I think it was 3 or 4. I think he played 1 season of college and probably didn't play all of them. So I'm gonna go 3 to 4 last year. I'm gonna go 5, maybe 6 his college season. That's 9. In high school, maybe he played 6 games. Let's go 15, Dean. Let's go 15.
I mean, why would you guess he only played like 6 games in high school? But you're right. Like, the answer is like 17, which is just bonkers.
But what happens, Dean? Sometimes guys move positions in high school, and so he could have started out as like a running back or a wide receiver, or but he's got an arm, and so his senior year, maybe they lose a quarterback, and they're like, "Hey, man, you're the quarterback now." And all of a sudden, he gets film at quarterback, Dean, and they see his athleticism and they see his arm talent. So, like in high school, Dean, if you've got, like, when I say arm talent, I'm saying if you've got arm strength, let me rephrase. In high school, if you've got arm strength and you've got a receiver that can fly down the field and he's just better than everybody, literally you can run go routes, depending on, where you are, and look like a super stud. And if he can run a little bit, hit a couple slants. A lot of teams now are running RPO offenses, even in high school, Dean. Like if you watch high school games, a lot of teams are running spread. They're running shotgun. They're not under center a lot. And so you can really display your athleticism. And I think, for Anthony Richardson, crazy good athlete, Dean. Like he is. Mm-hmm. He's a really incredibly great athlete. And he happens to play quarterback. And so hopefully, Dean, I actually think Anthony Richardson has a great season if he stays healthy. I do too. If he's healthy, I think he has a great season. So I'm really looking forward to him play this year.
By the way, great guess in chat. This is not correct, but Michael Crabtree it's a fun guess there with retired barbecue and crab cakes. Clue number 4. Let's go ahead and drop clue number 4. Not Chris Davis. It's not Eddie Murray. not Cal Ripken, not Johnny Unitas either. But the last clue, no, the fourth clue, there's still one more if we need it. But the fourth clue is, let me get this right, is father. Father is the fourth clue. Retired, barbecue, crab cakes, and father. All right. Matt Holliday is a good guess for father, but it is not Matt Holliday. But I see what you're doing there.
And you do mean like an actual a male that has children, not like a Catholic priest.
You can take it however you want to take it.
Oh, okay. All right. That's why I'm asking. But I mean, I think you could have cleared that up. But okay.
The clues are the clues, man. You gotta interpret them however you want to interpret them. That's just how that goes. It is not Ozzie Newsome or Babe Ruth. Sometimes, yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and we have the tiers board. That's gonna
be
tiers
coming in hot today. You want me to go ahead and explain it, Dean, or you want to just wait?
Yeah, let's go ahead and pivot to talk about some tiers. We'll talk about our favorite stacks. Crunch time coming in about a half hour or so. You got TJ's Zwarych. I assume Spidey's coming as well. So you're already hitting the like button. Obviously, like that's what you do. You got to come in there and hit the like button as you walk in the door. But if you want some Spidey bombs, I presume you got to hit the like button a certain amount of times. So also we get Derek Carty, CEO of the Bat and the Blitz, which is important this time of year. So maybe he'll answer some football questions later. I have no idea. Can't speak for him. And then you got Roth holding things down for crunch time. Again, about 25 minutes or so, plenty of time, just a 5-gamer. People are guessing in the YouTube chat. Those guesses do not officially count, but you can get your reps in there by all means. Make sure you guess in the Discord. But tell the people the category, and let's see if they can guess too before we give the official reveal. Tell the people what your category is today for tiers.
So today's tier, Dean, we're sticking with football, and we're going with coaching hires for the offseason. So that's what we're talking about, the new coaches that are bringing in these rosters and trying to talk with these teams. And what I did, guys, I ranked it in terms of what I felt like were we're talking about splash hires, right? And we went from what I felt like were some of the biggest splash hires. And then remember, one is going to be what I thought was the biggest, second down. Then in the middle, we're kind of like, okay, yeah, that made sense. Fourth is like, that probably wasn't great. And then fifth is like, yeah, this was just god awful. So that's what we're doing. We're going coaching changes in the offseason. And don't worry, folks. It's all going to make sense.
All right, so let's go ahead. Shall we reveal the board? I'm trying to see if there's any guessing in the chat. Do not see any guesses just yet, but here we go. Why is that? Is that just me, or is the font looking really funky, or is that just my eyes? What's going on?
It looks highlighted today, but that's okay. We can read it. We can read it.
Okay.
And maybe he did it so we can make sure we identify the names. So here's what we did today, folks. So the splash hire, I felt like Jim Harbaugh was probably the biggest splash hire. The reason why I say that is clearly he's the guy that was coming from college football that everybody felt like was going to go somewhere, and we didn't quite know, but he ended up with the Chargers, and he's got a very interesting situation. It looks like he's gutted the team and is going to try to build this thing his way. So once again, folks, this is not saying the teams are going to be good, so I want to make that clear. We're just talking about how splashy the hires were. Raheem Morris goes from L.A. to Atlanta, gets a second chance at a head coaching job. I actually thought that was a pretty big splash hire. I think in the end of this thing, at one point, we felt like the Falcons were going to hire somebody else, and all of a sudden, Raheem Morris emerges as the leader of men for that team. So I thought that was an incredibly splashy hire, and not to parlay that, but then they went even more splashy in the NFL draft. I, for one, was okay with that pick. I know a lot of people were not. We won't get into that. Too much time to have that debate. Right in the middle, I just felt like this was just right. Dean, that was Antonio Pierce. A lot of you might be saying, well, Antonio Pierce, listen, he did not have the job. He was an interim head coach. They brought him in. The season ended. It looked like the team bought in the philosophy, Dean. Looks like they bought in the energy that he brings to the team, and they decided that they weren't going to go outside and hire an external person. Antonio Pierce was the guy that they wanted to keep. I felt like that was a just right hire. I felt like he did a pretty good job with that team down the stretch. Next, Dean, my goodness, How in the world did Dan Quinn get this job with Washington? This Cowboys defense was supposed to be electric and elite and shut everybody down. And as they closed out the season, Dean, they looked like Swiss cheese. Couldn't stop a nosebleed. But yet Dan Quinn still emerges as the candidate, gets the job, and stays in the division, Dean. Riverboat Ron walks out the door, who's a defensive coach. Dan Quinn walks in the door.
Don't tilt me.
I don't see how in the world this helps this team with a young quarterback. Nothing against Dan Quinn. I think they should have went younger and a little bit more offensive if you were going to bring in, one of the most electric quarterbacks in college football. I don't know what they were doing there. And then last but not least, this has to be the worst of the worst, and this wasn't a hire. This was a non-hire. How in the world did Bill Belichick not get a coaching opportunity as they close the season out? Yes, I know he's older. Yes, I know that possibly some of his ideologies, I don't know this for sure, could be archaic. But when your team isn't winning and you've got the tools to win, i.e., like the Cowboys, how do you not give Bill Belichick a shot? I don't know. Maybe he wanted too much control, but I just felt like Bill Belichick not getting a coaching opportunity, Dean, when it seemed like he did want one, that was just god-awful. And that's the coaching list.
Well, Belichick does. He's got a weekly show on the Pat McAfee show.
But that's not coaching. That's not coaching. That is not coaching.
Underdog Fantasy hired him. He also has his own show called He's everywhere now. Like, he's everywhere. more Dean, Belichick than you ever wanted.
Dean, is he a coach for an NFL football team?
No.
Everybody hired him but an NFL football team. That's my point.
But
honorable mentions, obviously the Panthers, Coach Canales did not make the list. I didn't feel like that was splashy. I felt like that was the right hire. You know what I mean, Dean? Like, he should have got the job. Young quarterback. They saw what he did with Baker Mayfield. He was the right fit for the job. And then the guy that went to Seattle, McDonald.
He's supposed to be good too. Supposed to be opening up the offense there.
He's a defensive coach, went to Seattle. I think, I don't think people expected Pete Carroll to leave, which in fact he didn't leave. He's an advisor in the organization. So he's still around, to help in any way that he can. So once again, that's why those guys didn't make the list. I felt like those were probably the right hires for the situations that they have. I did feel like these were pretty splashy. So there you go, Dean. And that's the list today.
All right. Don't see any big discrepancies there in chat. Nobody really disagrees necessarily. We're going to talk about our favorite stacks in just a second. We will drop the fifth clue for Fleet Thursday, although somebody already got it. Somebody already got it in chat. Who's Blink 182, who I believe was I think that's who had the 3-player parlay, home run parlay, turned like 60 cents and like $80 because it was the most absurd 3 names. And Seth Brown was like the best hitter amongst the 3. It was pretty wild. So he's on fire this week. Clue number 5, again, just playing out the string, getting some reps in. Retired, barbecue, crab cakes, father. And clue number 5 is ball carrier. Ball carrier. So there you go.
So we're going to assume he's a running back.
You never really assume things, these clues, but some things mean some things and some things don't. But maybe, if you're putting it all together, quite possibly this person is a running back. Okay. First game we're going to be talking about here at Washington, Pittsburgh, 8.5. Bailey Falter taking on Jake Irvin. We have Pittsburgh's a slight favorite, 4.35 as far as the total. Not a great ballpark to hit baseballs in. We like Irvin a little bit more than we like Falter. A lot of cheap guys in this Washington lineup to make stuff work. Cruz is leading off today against the lefty. They are sitting down their prized shortstop. Where do you have the Nats? The Nats and the Pirates. Where are they going on the board?
Nats are going to be in Antonio Pierce for me, just kind of middle of the road here. Pirates are going to be Dan Quinn.
Pirates, Dan Quinn. I'm sorry, where are we putting Washington?
Antonio Pierce, right in the middle.
All right. Yeah, that's kind of where I have them too, basically. I don't necessarily love it, but for sure, if you're making a certain number of lineups, you're going to get there to some degree. Flying Armbar telling me it was $800, not $80. Well, my bad if I got that wrong. Yeah, because the odds were completely silly. So there you go. Shout out to Blink 182. I want to see if anybody else. I guess everybody in the Discord has basically got the the winner at this point. What does WP Will Priester mean? Why is it up on the screen? What am I missing? What's the WP?
The team's logos, WP.
Oh, yeah, I was not getting there. I'm staring at the board. I'm like, what? Yeah, that was not happening. But all right. By the way, Will, do you know the answer to because you kind of gave an assist. You kind of gave an assist before. I don't know if you realized you did when you asked the question. Do you remember what you asked?
Oh, yeah. Were we talking about a male that has children or a Catholic priest?
Yes. And you asked that question, and I think somebody's bell went off and said, "Oh, well, wait a second. Maybe it doesn't necessarily mean what it traditionally means."
Yes.
So you were onto something. I don't know if you've pieced it together just yet.
I think I have.
Okay. Yeah, and I think we got Blink-182 who's happy, who got a week free of RG Premium. Okay. 4 more games to go. 15 minutes till crunch time shows up. You have any questions, by all means, fire them off in chat. Happy to answer those. Ranger Suarez taking on Adam Aller. Kyle Schwarber. He's hotter than Hansel right now. That dude's banging on homers on the reg. I saw somebody tweet out the other day. He's got an outside shot at 500 home runs. That's not crazy. That's not completely bonkers. If he just keeps banging. You know who can use a Kyle Schwarber type is the Cubs. I feel like the Cubs can use a Kyle Schwarber type.
Interesting.
Don't you think? Probably can use them in their lineup.
They probably could.
Where do we have Philly? This is the 72nd revenge game for JT Realmuto. Really hates the Marlins. Very vengeful. Where do we have the Phillies and the Marlins? Terrible ballpark, obviously, but Aller we can pick on in this Marlins bullpen is weakened as the seasons progressed with them trading off whatever useful arms they had.
Yeah, Marlins are going in the Bill Belichick category for me today. I feel like they might actually legitimately have the worst matchup on the board in terms of pitching for a guy like Ranger who doesn't necessarily have to strike them out, but should still be able to limit any type of upside they have via the ground ball. So I really like Ranger today, and so I'm going with the Marlins all the way at the bottom. In terms of the Phillies, I still don't feel like the Phillies are the top stack. They're going to go in the Raheem Morris category for me today. But, I could be swayed all the way to the top, but I don't think they're quite the top stack on the slate.
So I'm just curious, do you have, not to reveal just yet, but do you have more than one team in Jim Harbaugh, or you think there's one team that should be there by themselves?
I've got 2 teams.
Huh. Okay. Interesting. Well, I think I know who they are, but all right. Kind of surprising, a little bit.
Yeah,
because I have Philly as my second best team, but I'm not going to fight about it. It's close enough. So if you want to keep Philly and Raheem Morris, I'm good with that. We shall move on. Colorado taking out Atlanta. Colorado's got a team total less than 3. They're outside of cores versus righties this year. Nobody strikes out more versus right-handers. They're on the road, which means they go from bad to worse. On the other side, Atlanta, 5 total. Talked about Gomber's lefty being reverse splitsy. Like lefties have hammered him this year. They hammered him last year as well. So not that I think you are the generic you. You shouldn't be afraid to play Michael Harris. You shouldn't be afraid to play Matt Olson. I was kind of bummed that Kelnick didn't crack this lineup because I thought he would be kind of like a sneaky way to be a little bit different in an Atlanta stack. But unfortunately, Luke Williams is batting 9th. He just, he's not very good, but he's taking Kelnick's spot, I believe. Where do we have the Braves and the Rockies? I assume Jim Harbaugh is getting a knock on his door.
Yeah, Rockies for sure are going to be closer to the bottom for me just because I feel like there's just so many strikeouts in this lineup. And for everything that Ronaldo Lopez has done for the Braves this season, I think when they shut him down for those couple of weeks, Dean, it did help him out. So it looks like he's kind of come back and has picked up the strikeouts again. And so I do expect him to have strikeouts, albeit that may just be 5 innings. He may be at 85 pitches in 5 innings, but if he goes 5 innings at 85 pitches against this team, he may in fact have 7 strikeouts. So I would be perfectly fine with that. All that to say, Marlins are definitely, for me, even on a 5-game slate, they're going in the Belichick category. The Braves, when you look at Gomber, I am going to side with the chalk here. Gomber is giving up power to both sides of the plate, isn't really striking a bunch of guys out. Now, the Braves strike out a ton, Dean, and that's something that we can't overlook. But I do feel like they have one. That's one of my two teams that I feel like are in one of the best spots of the night. So give me the Braves as one of the top tier teams. I want to side with the field on that one.
Hasn't been the best season by Matt Olson's standards, but this year he's been better versus lefties, left on left. I think it's 9 of his 25 homers have come against lefties as well. 258 ISO, 366 WOBA. So he's hammered him hard. He struck out a lot too, 25%, but it's not like Gomber really has the arsenal to consistently strike out opponents. 17% Ks versus lefties this season. 17% versus righties too. I'm cutting off the decimals, but basically the same K rate. Yeah, 227 ISO lefty, 210 ISO righty. Last year, a 283 ISO versus lefties, which is just unacceptable. And a 200 ISO versus righties. Either way, does not discriminate. He gets thrashed from a power perspective from both lefties and righties. 2 games left to go. Again, we have all the lineups in, so not really waiting anything as far as Twitter. All right. Angels, Texas, 8.5 total. Texas has close to a 5 total. They did lose Seager, which is kind of a bummer to this lineup. He's on the IL, dealing with, I think he's got a hip.
He's had a rough season, man. In, out. And it's really, I hate it for him.
Texas has had a rough season.
Yeah, absolutely.
The entire team.
Absolutely, for sure. Yeah.
Am I bonkers? They're the defending champions, right? Didn't Texas win the whole thing last year?
They are, yes, they did.
Okay. It's they're not even make the playoffs this year. They're not even going to sniff the playoffs. And they every team but the White Sox make the playoffs now under the new system. But
Eric Johnson, stop speaking that blasphemy. The Braves have not had a great season. Don't wish for us to lose today. Come on, guy. Come on, man. It's not like they're leading the division or anything. We're just an average team with all these injuries. No need to wish for us to lose. We need to win as many games as we can. Blasphemy.
You're in the by the way, producer Steve says he's with you as well.
Well, he's allowed. He's a Mets fan. I understand him. Eric's just hating to be hating. Eric loves the Oakland A's every day, so you don't get to wish bad juju on my Braves.
Oakland's kind of not a bad team to be nobody wants to bet on Oakland right now.
No.
If you have
Eric's been on Oakland for 50 million seasons, so he didn't just start this year.
With the Bash brothers you're talking about, Neckerty
right.
and Henderson and those guys.
So Eric's fine. He's been a loyal DFS Oakland Athletics fan.
Oh, I missed it. The White Sox won. Was that today or yesterday? Shout out to the White Sox. All right. Now they're only 44 games back. They're 32 and 109. All right. Well, yeah. Good job, Chicago.
All that to say, Dean, Angels most likely going in the Belichick category for me. And the Rangers are going to be in the Raheem Morris category.
Crunch Time loves their French. They're going to love Charles LeBlanc. I don't know if TJ's hanging out. He's going to be popping on or Carty as well, but they love speaking. They're going to have some fun with Charles LeBlanc batting 7th tonight for the Angels. Man, I do like Adele, and they actually bumped him up in the lineup, batting 5th tonight. He's got really good power against lefties.
I don't mind one off. I'm talking about, do I want to run 5 bats from this team? And that answer is no.
Oh, no, I agree with you, but I was just kind of adding just a little bit of I'm going to play. I'm probably going to have Adele. I might have Adele in my main lineup if he works. We'll see.
But 3,400 cheap.
Yeah, I don't mind Ward either. And, I don't mind a little mini Angels. I'm okay with Ward and Neto. Pilar probably is a no. Second base just stinks. So the opportunity cost is not great. I don't want to play Brandon Drury. But if I have a lineup that works perfectly, if that's the person that fits, so be it. I'm not happy about it. Hold my nose. But they're going to go around the horn position in a second and with crunch time, and you're going to see second base not great. All right, one more game. Detroit and San Diego, 8.5 is the total. Martin Perez versus War Eagle Casey Mize. We did get that Detroit lineup. I think they're sitting some of their Meadows the lefty batting 9th, Keith batting 7th. And they have Riley Green in there in the 3-hole. Henry Malloy batting cleanup, which is just kind of weird to say. Rogers has a little bit of pop too, batting 5th, but I don't think you're wowed by this Detroit team, and there's still one spot remaining. You hinted that there's going to be 2 teams with Jim Harbaugh. I'm guessing it's not Detroit. You tell me.
It is not Detroit, but Detroit is going to Dan Quinn. I don't think they're the worst spot. As much as I like Martin Perez, I think Detroit is a better offense than these 3 teams that we have at the bottom. And clearly the Padres against Mize, Dean, gutless, whatever you want to call them, the numbers suggest that this is a quality team every day. Low strikeouts. They got power in all the right places. And, Casey Mize does not intimidate me at all. I think the Padres are a great stack today. So a top-tier team for sure.
All right, let's go ahead and give the recap. Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh's got 2 teams hanging out with him. Atlanta, San Diego. Raheem Morris has 2 teams as well. Philadelphia, Texas. Right in the middle, smack in the middle is Pierce. Again, no Abrams playing today for Washington. I think that's a slight hit to them overall. Power and wheels. Dan Quinn's got Pittsburgh and Detroit. And then Bill Belichick with all his jobs. No coaching jobs, but a lot of he's going to be on the Twitter. You're going to see him popping up and doing things. He's hanging out with 3 staples in the gutter this year. Colorado, the Marlins, and the Angels. 3 teams that have been down there basically the entire season. That is the board. Do you have any props for the people? I know that a lot of times this kind of prompts like 27 different props. Yeah, you're hanging out there in the prop shop. The people don't know. Discord, RotoGrinders.com/Discord. And the prop shop, that is free. It's a free Discord channel. You do not need a RotoGrinders paid account. You just need a standard RG account. It doesn't cost you anything. We want you to have a paid account, of course. Sure. Get yourself RG Premium, 6 months RG Premium. You want to commit to that? You get $250 off right off the top, as opposed to going month by month by month. 1 month, you want to get some NFL stuff. You want to get some football, baseball, basketball, hockey. Well, I guess hockey probably not happening just yet. Soon though. PGA, MMA, everything with the exception of NASCAR that is a la carte. But if you want to participate and get yourself some RG Premium, the links are in the description. And if you have no commitment ability, which is fine, no worries, no judging. 3 days, $19 and change. Will, do you have a couple favorite props tonight? You can go baseball, you can go football, whatever you have for the people.
Okay, I was about to say, because listen, if you ask for baseball props tonight, I have no baseball props for these night games. I just decided to take baseball off. I do have some NFL props that I'm putting in. One of my favorites, which I did talk about it on the show with Blender today. I think I'm a little bit higher on Isaiah Pacheco in terms of rushing attempts than maybe the field is right now. And I know when we talked about it on the show today, Blender said that was a blitz neutral play. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but I just feel like, and once again, I'm fully committing to, I'm using some of last year's data as they close the season. I think he gets closer to 60 to 70 tonight, but that's just me kind of based on how they close out the season last year. But at 14.5, I think he gets 15 carries in this game. Blitz is really high on this game as a whole. So what I would suggest, if you're in the pick'em streets and you can find a way to do it without them, bumping your payouts down so much, I would find a way to stack this game because the blitz, and that one caught me off guard too. I think I reached out to Carty about this morning. I think I reached out to him about Xavier Worthy, but just that game in general. I think Pat Mahomes was projected for over 300. Lamar was projected for a lot more yards than I thought. Rashee Rice, if you're into looking at the blitz stuff, I'm not going to tell you everything from there. You need to purchase it and, patronize Carty. But his was a big discrepancy today. So, I will have a couple game stacks, if you will, of this game tonight. And for Sunday, man, I mean, if there's one category that looks good, it's passing yards. And I'm not going to tell you which way it's going, but it looks really good for this week, especially with a couple high total dome games, which the Blitz loves. But
Cooper Kupp? Is it Cooper Kupp?
Well, Cooper Kupp is one that I'm going to be playing Sunday. But if you guys want to hear about the Blitz, we'll be on the Blitz show tomorrow. Ago. Yeah, we'll be on the Blitz show tomorrow, and you guys can just come hang out with us, and we'll
tomorrow or Saturday?
Everything we're doing. No, tomorrow. We're on Fridays this year at 1 p.m. Eastern. So we don't hold back. Carty will tell you exactly Carty will tell you exactly what he's doing. I'll tell you exactly what I'm doing, and AD will open it up tomorrow and give his thoughts. But you follow what the blitz says, you follow the game plan, and typically you'll come out ahead at the end of the season. But
crunch time coming in just a second. I did want to give sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but crunch time's coming in shortly. Good. I did want to tell the people that those that were playing for Fleet Thursday, I wanted to reveal the answer. We officially had a Blink 182 took it down. Several people in chat, in the YouTube chat, and the Discord channel got it as well. Clue number 1 was retired. That's just telling this person's no longer playing sports, obviously. Clue number 2 is barbecue, and we'll just kind of add it with crab cakes. We have barbecue and crab cakes. And when you think of crab cakes, what do you think of? If you're thinking of a location, you think of Maryland, Baltimore. You think of barbecue, you might think of Texas, you might think of the Carolinas, but you can also think of St. Louis, or you can also think of Kansas City. So who's playing football tonight? Kansas City is playing Baltimore tonight. Okay, so Kansas City, barbecue Kansas City, crab cakes Baltimore. Father, you asked me if father meant does this person actually have children? Not necessarily, or it could just be something you call somebody because they have they do something for a living. They have a certain faith. And that was the clue that I think really put people on either if you read that one correctly, and of course, ball carrier. So we did choose an athlete who played for both Baltimore and Kansas City, who carries the ball, and their name is kind of like father. It's Priest Holmes. Priest Holmes was today's Fleet Thursday. Congratulations for those that are playing at home. Without further ado, let's go ahead and bring in crunch time. It is going to be Chief Mineralogist Kevin Roth, Derek Carty, TJ Zwarych. Here we go. Crunch time. All right. By the way, Roth, no sports jacket? Well, I know this isn't the Weather Channel or anything, but you can't give us that was a great hit, by the way. It was very, very impressive.
Thank you.
I missed it. What did Roth do?
He was on the Weather Channel earlier today. And,
with Cantori.
Really?
Yes, out of context, Roth said CJ Stroud is a dog. He got that on the Weather Channel, which is just great.
Cantori loves me so much. He ends every hit with me. He's like, I love you, Kev. You're my guy, Kev. Like, I feel like we might be best friends.
Do you have his number on your phone?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Oh, all right. And you said, I don't know, his coworker, Steph, you even shortened her name? Like you're very familiar with her as well?
Yeah, Stephanie Abrams. They're both if you're a weather nerd, they're two of the best, man.
They're top
awesome.
notch?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're like the TJ Zwarych and the Derek Carty of weather.
Well done. By the way, your Fleet Thursday was phenomenal today. The father clue, because he was priest father. Oh, good stuff.
Roth, you got to start.
Magnifique.
Yeah.
And we had to tie in the game tonight somehow, right? So I'm like, who played for both Baltimore? I almost went with Suggs, and I couldn't. He was the other guy because he played one season with Kansas City. Nobody remembers that, but I couldn't quite get there. I'm like, Priest Holmes. That makes more sense. And I like the father clue, and I'm like, that's the one. That's what we're going with. So, all right. And I read it by somebody else, and they said that barbecue is not synonymous with Kansas City, and I disagreed. I don't know if you have an opinion on that. It's not first necessarily, but for sure, Kansas City barbecue is a thing.
Sure. I immediately thought Texas when you said barbecue, but it's fine. Kansas City barbecue is sort of a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sort of.
All right. Yeah. Anything else, Will, before we step aside and get out of here? 40 minutes. You guys got plenty of time. I promise you. This is a really
negative, man. Negative. I'm getting away from Carty so we don't get into our Blitz show talk tomorrow because it could easily take over this broadcast. So I'm getting the heck out of here.
Going forward, that's the entire season, Carty. The show's going to be on Fridays, the Blitz?
Yep. Friday. It used to be on Saturdays. It's on Fridays every week this year.
Right, I kind of feel like you guys did that just to get away from me, and it kind of sucks. I'm going to miss being part of the show this year.
Oh, are you not producing on Fridays? Want you.
Yeah.
I'm Saturday, Sunday. I'm not on Friday.
Get out of our 4-man. Get out.
That's fair. I was winning the 4-man every week, so that's understandable.
7:40 tonight. Do you want to plug also the Showdown slate? You got Squirrel and you have Chop coming in after. While you're tilting your baseball, go ahead and that's why you turn on notifications if you want to play a little bit of Showdown tonight. I assume there's a Venn diagram for sure. You got Chop and you have Squirrel talking Showdown football. All right, myself and Will, we bid you adieu. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us for the first part. Hit that like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Roth, take it away.
Good stuff as always. Welcome to it, ladies and gents. You know the drill. It's crunch time. It's two of the sharpest minds in the biz. We're going to take you up to lock. We're going to take you through lock. We're going to guide you through everything you need to know on this slate. We got my guy TJ. By the way, TJ, I'm seeing in the chat, J3 says, your ability to speak French was called into question on the prior show. Tu parles français, mon ami?
Oh oui, je parle français. J'ai enseigné le français pour 5 années. Et oui.
You've only been talking for 5 years? Is that what I got?
I've been teaching it for 5
years. You've been teaching it for 5 years. Okay, I missed that part. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. That means
little rusty though. That was probably the first time I spoke French in legitimately 1 year.
Okay.
TJ, I speak French on this show all the time. How is that the first time you haven't spoke French in a year?
Jake Berger.
I mean, outside of names, maybe we'll say that's the first time I've done a complete sentence in French. Then
that's fair.
Maybe when I quit teaching.
That's fair.
Sounds good.
Which was about a year ago now.
Yeah, all right. We got Derek Carty in the house as well. The creator, the inventor, the CEO of the Bat and the Blitz. A little bonjour going on. Bonjour to you, Carty. This is like Christmas for you with the Blitz coming up, the Bat still going. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. We got the crossover month. We have, still good baseball happening. We have football starting tonight, so I'm excited.
Is this your richest month because you still have the carryover of the money that you're making from the Bat, and then people sign up for the Blitz? Are you just absolutely loaded? Is this your month where you're just like?
I honestly have no idea. I don't even have time to check it out, and the way I get paid is kind of weird. So
okay,
I don't think it works that way.
Okay, fair enough. I think it probably is. I think the answer probably is. Yeah. Well, we're happy to have you here. I know that you do both sports, but we're locked into baseball here for the next 34 minutes or so. And then, as Dean mentioned, we are going to turn things over, and we've got a little showdown content for you later tonight as well. But guys, let's dive into this slate, starting with the weather, which is a wonderful update for you. No concerns whatsoever. There's no rain issues anywhere to be had yet again. It's been like the quietest last few weeks ever of MLB weather. And I'm here for it. So let's dive into the slate itself. Carty, you can lead us off with what we're doing here.
Yeah, I mean, this is a small slate. The pitching on it is not awesome. Well, let's just start by talking about the pitching. So
okay. We don't want to do 2 football shows? This could be the Blitz football show, the other, and then.
So Patrick Mahomes is pretty good at football now. So Ronaldo Lopez is our top pitcher on the slate. I mean, that should kind of tell you about the quality of the slate. Like, he's pretty good, but like, he's not an ace, and he's the best we have by a good margin. He's facing the Rockies, which that's why he's the top guy on the slate, because the Rockies are bad. They're outside of Coors. They strike out a lot. Ronaldo's pretty good. And so Ronaldo's like kind of your slam dunk cash guy, no matter what, especially on DK. And then it's kind of like, who are you going to pair him with after that? Because it kind of gets gross. If you want to spend up, I mean, Ranger Suarez is against the Marlins in Miami, but he's expensive and he's still building back from injury. He probably is going to be capped around 90, 95 pitches today. So I worry about his upside. I think he's too expensive for cash. I probably just save some money and play Cody Bradford. I'm not a huge Cody Bradford fan, but he's facing the Angels and he's 2K less than Ranger Suarez and doesn't have a pitch count. And so that's where we are on this slate. After them, I mean, you can kind of take shots on a few of the other guys because it's the kind of slate where you can. Everyone else is kind of almost equally terrible. I wouldn't tell you no to anybody else on this slate except for probably Jake Irvin because of price. But you can play Martin Perez. You can play Falter. I like them more than the rest. But if you wanted to play Mize or Aller or Kachanowicz or whatever, like you can, I guess. The slate.
Okay. Boy, that is not a ringing endorsement.
I'm going to tell you can play Jake Irvin too, because he's probably my 4th favorite.
Wow.
Oh, all right then.
Okay. So TJ, are you like scattershot all of these pitchers? Because I mean, Carty basically said he doesn't like anything. That's what I gathered from that.
I'm just going one lineup today, so I don't have. I'm just playing Ronaldo Lopez and Cody Bradford, and my way of getting different is I'm not playing the Braves. But most of my entry fees were invested into NFL, and so I decided just maybe one lineup day for me for baseball. And so I'm going Lopez and Bradford in my main one. I think Suarez would be my 3rd favorite. Irvin would be number 4. But it's like you said, it's not a ringing endorsement. It's like Carty said, the pitching sucks. And so Reynaldo Lopez and Bradford are definitely going to be my 1st and 2nd choice. And then I'm just going to get different with my bats.
Okay, well, that's a good transition. Let's talk about how you're getting different. I assume by you saying you're getting different by not playing Atlanta, that means Atlanta is the chalk.
Yeah, Atlanta is going to be the, like, projection-wise top stack on the board. Texas looks really good. San Diego looks pretty solid. And then Philadelphia is in a nice spot as well. Of those teams, I think Philadelphia is probably my favorite. But my team that I'm stacking today in single entry is actually Washington. I'm going Washington full stack, Philadelphia mini stack. I would basically say you could pretty much stack anyone on the slate, not named Colorado. But even Colorado, it's just like, well, you're facing a 50% owned pitcher, so I guess you kind of can, but I wouldn't want to. So you can basically play anybody. I would have the objective top options as San Diego, Texas, Atlanta, and Philly, but my favorite for tournaments are Philly and Washington.
Okay, good stuff. Carty, stack-wise, what are you liking?
Kind of similar. I have those same top 4 teams, and it looks like ownership is going to kind of be relatively balanced between them. The bet does think Philly is a step above the rest, though, in terms of projection. So I'm glad TJ likes them. They're the team I like the best. They should be higher owned than the other teams by a good amount, and it doesn't look like they will be. So I like Philly quite a bit. I think you can definitely take shots on Detroit and Washington because they're so cheap and they're kind of the next best. To a lesser extent, Angels and Pirates. And then you have obviously the Rockies and the Marlins at the bottom. I kind of have the opposite take of TJ though, where I wouldn't stack the Marlins. I don't think Ranger Suarez is going to be chalky enough, and I don't think the upside's quite as good against them. I would rather play Colorado against a higher owned Ronaldo if I was going to do something like that. Gotcha.
Okay, fair enough, guys. Let's go around the horn, talk position by position. Carty, lead us off with a little catcher talk.
So I mentioned Philly's my favorite team. JT Realmuto is reasonably enough priced. He's 4.1 tonight against Aller. If you can get up there, great. Sean Murphy, I think, will be just as owned, but I do like Realmuto a little bit more. And then you have, to save some money, Jake Rogers looks like the best choice. He's 3K. He's hitting 5th against Perez. And then everything else is really just kind of really bad.
TJ, you want to throw in any other names?
Only other one I'd throw in would be Keibert Ruiz, just because I like Washington today. But I mean, he's batting 8th, and I'm just playing him in my Washington stack, but it doesn't look super great.
Yeah. Okay. How about first base, TJ?
First base, I'll just say as well, I agree Realmuto is my favorite of the catchers. Of the first baseman, my favorite is Bryce Harper. Love getting up to him if I can. Even though Torkelson was bad earlier in the year and in the minors, he's been red hot since he got called back up. But I like going cheap here with either Yepes or where is my guy? Oh, he's not showing up on DraftKings because he's in my lineup already, or Chaparro. Yepes or Chaparro, the two Washington guys batting in the middle of the lineup, are my top 2 options.
Okay, Carty kind of nodding in agreement through that whole thing. What are you doing at first, Carty?
Yeah, I like Harper a lot at the top. I think he's clearly the top guy, the guy you try to get to if you can. Matt Olson, it's lefty, and Atlanta is not going to be sneaky, so he's not going to be like low owned. But I still kind of like him at his price and modest ownership. I think the Torkelson call is fine. I think Nate Lowe looks pretty good for his price. I think Rowdy Tellez is definitely viable in tournaments with his power potential. And Andy Ibanez, if you really need to save money, is hitting second against Perez tonight, and he's fine.
Okay, let's go to second base. We had someone asking a second base question earlier. I think they're like, hey, who's good at second base? And Dean basically said, I think no one is the answer.
Pretty much no one is the answer. If you have to pick, you have Bryson Stott in Philly's lineup, who I like a lot tonight. So he's probably the one I would look at, especially on FanDuel. He's 2.8K. He's cheap enough where like you don't have to overthink it in terms of like optimal play, like it's Stott. But you do have Semien, who's in a pretty good spot. You have Cronenworth, who's in a pretty good spot. You have Nick Gonzalez. To save money, you have Ibanez again on DraftKings for 2.6. On FanDuel, I guess you could do like Nick Gonzalez or Kiner Falefa if you want something other than Stott that's cheap. But yeah, second base is bad today.
Okay. TJ, your thoughts second.
Second base is bad today. Bryson Stott is my top option. Marcus Semien, if you can spend up, but I'd rather do it elsewhere unless you just have the money. Bryson Stott would be my top option there by a fairly wide margin. Gonzalez probably third, and if I need something sneaky, my favorite would be Cody Clemens.
Very good. With that, you get to take us over to third base. Hopefully, there's something a little better there. Although looking at these names,
not really. Josh Jung, Josh Smith, Manny Machado are probably the three best options. I don't feel great about any of them. I'm going cheap and punting it today with Yilmargo, however you say his name, Idamaro Vargas. And so that's who I'm playing. $2,500, nice and cheap, batting sixth against Falter. I like Washington. I'm going Vargas.
Okay, Carter, your thoughts at third.
I like Washington too, and I like Jose Tena hitting fifth for them. It's a lefty-lefty matchup, but Falter doesn't go super deep, and Falter is not good. He's cheap. I like him a lot. I don't think you have to spend up tonight. The expensive guys at third aren't really that great. I think Manny Machado will pick up a bunch of ownership, but I mean, it's not like he's head and shoulders above everyone else.
Yeah.
Josh Smith, Matt Vierling on DK, Kiner Falefa again. That's kind of, or I guess really cheap. If you don't want to do Tena, who will probably be pretty popular, you could do Jared Triolo in the Pittsburgh lineup, and he's for the same price, and he's fine.
Okay. Take me to shortstop, Carty.
O'Neal Cruz and Trey Turner are the top tier at shortstop tonight. I prefer Cruz, a little bit cheaper on both sites, projects a little bit better. On FanDuel, projects for a little bit lower ownership, which is nice. Obviously, Turner in your Philly stacks, which I love, but just pure one-off or just pure value, point per dollar guy or whatever. It's Cruz. The lower rungs of shortstop tonight are not awesome, and it's a lot of the same names that we've already talked about because they're like multiple position guys. Like if you're not playing Bryson Stott at second, which I don't know why you wouldn't, you can play him at short on FanDuel. If you're not playing Josh Smith at third, you can play him at short. If you're not playing Jose Tena at short, you can play him at third. But yeah, I guess Orlando Arcia would be the cheap guy on DK that I have the most interest in. But it's a position that falls off quickly tonight.
Okay. TJ, your thoughts at short.
O'Neal Cruz is my favorite, and he is also the first Spidey bomb at plus 475 today. O'Neal Cruz, love him to hit a home run, and he's also my favorite shortstop. It's just not a very strong position today. I'm personally playing Trey Turner in my single entry just because I needed some salary since I was going cheap with Washington. But I would still rank O'Neal Cruz above him. Outside of those two, yeah, Orlando Arcia is fine. I think Zach Nato, if you're not playing Bradford, is fine. But it's a pretty gross position.
Okay.
Like I guess. Like all of them are pretty gross positions.
Yeah. Well, hopefully not the outfield. You got all kinds of guys. But
true. And up top, if you're choosing between Ozuna and Schwarber, I go Schwarber by a very large margin today. Ozuna hasn't actually been very good against lefties this season. He's done most of his damage against right-handed pitching. So I would go Schwarber as my top option there. I do like Laureano as a potential cheapie for in the Atlanta stack today. Jorge Soler is absolutely awesome. Those would probably be my main priorities. But like I said, I'm also playing some Washington. So I'm getting to Jacob Young, getting to James Woods. But Dylan Cruz is probably my favorite individual bat of all the Washington players today.
Okay. Carty, your thoughts in the outfield?
Kind of similar. The Philly and Atlanta guys really kind of are the best outfield options tonight. Schwarber's my top guy also. I like Castellanos. I like Brandon Marsh. I like all the Atlanta guys, Laureano and Soler and Michael Harris. I think Fernando Tatis at the high end could be, I don't want to say lost because it's a small slate, but I don't think he'll be as popular as guys like Schwarber or Ozuna. So I like Tatis quite a bit. I think he's kind of right in that top tier with them. Wyatt Langford, reasonably priced. Yeah, that's kind of it.
We want to get to some questions. We want to give some home run calls as well. So guys, be thinking about your favorite home run calls. And Carty, if you can look up the best home run bet according to the bat, that's always a fun one. In the meantime, everybody needs to know it's today. Today's the day. Tonight's the night. NFL Premium is on sale. Get your first month of NFL Premium for $15 off. You can get a 6-month combo subscription, exclusive price, $469.99, save you $250 as opposed to doing it month by month. Also, 1 month of RG Combo Premium, $120, or a 3-day pass, $19.99. Now is the time to sign up for RG Premium. There has quite literally never been a better time. You got a sale going on, and you got NFL coming on back. Let's talk some home runs. TJ, you got some bombs?
Jamar Chase expected to play week 1, and I'm very over the field on Jamar Chase in best ball. Nice. And in one of my season-long drafts, this is crazy. It is a super flex, so people were picking some quarterbacks in the first round. But I got Christian McCaffrey in round 1, Jamar Chase round 2. Feeling pretty good.
It's craziness. How much best ball did you do? How many best ball drafts?
Still got one cooking right now.
Ooh,
as we
nice.
Speak. And I have about 40.
40. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
So not on Dean or Tim's level, but I'm still doing a decent amount.
Yeah, pretty solid. All right, how about some home run calls for me here, TJ? You already gave us one Spidey bomb, O'Neal Cruz at plus 475.
I think Kyle Schwarber is my favorite player just overall to hit a home run today. I think he's the most likely. I think Soler is my favorite of the chalky ones. Then if you need something sneaky, Dylan Cruz, I believe, is plus 680.
Okay, good stuff. Carty, you got a few names for me as well?
Yeah, for DFS, I agree. Schwarber's definitely the top guy. Kind of more off the board. I think Joe Adell has a pretty good shot tonight. In terms of betting, the top guy, according to the bat, is not great value tonight, but Fernando Tatis plus 450, Rowdy Tellez plus 700, both show a decent amount of value.
Okay, makes sense. Carty, are you prepared to talk NFL if the conversation and questions veer that way?
Oh, yeah.
Or are you? Yeah, oh yeah. That was a confident answer. Oh yeah, he's right. Okay, good. Because we're opening it up to not just baseball questions, not just dinner questions, but also any NFL showdown questions that you have. Even main slate questions. We'll see what we can do. Don't try to pilfer all the Blitz's free information. You can get a question or two. You still got to pay if you want the goods. Same goes for RG Premium. Let's see what we've got here. Brandon O Sports says, will these continue once baseball ends? I don't know.
But not on the weekend.
Okay.
Or sorry, after baseball ends. Well, never mind. I didn't realize what
So
that meant.
I thought
they meant now that
You mean after football starts?
Yeah.
That's how I understood it.
Yeah. After football starts, yes. After baseball ends, I think there's only a 3-week gap until basketball starts back up. And so what they do in those 3 weeks, I'm not sure. But either way, it's back for basketball once that starts every single day. So we'll see. But either way, we're around. Some of us may get a little vacation, fingers crossed, but we'll be here.
NBA starts on October 22nd. I'm not sure when the last regular season game is, but October 22nd is NBA.
The last regular season game is the last day of this month, I'm pretty sure, like September 30th. So we got maybe a few weeks off. Maybe not. Maybe they'll throw something at us. We'll see. DK Cash in the outfield, Carty, Soler or Merrill? I feel like you liked Soler, but
I'll take Soler.
Yeah. DKGPP. Oh, we got some NFL questions already coming in. Your favorite captain for the showdown slate tonight? I will let you both answer this question. Carty, do you have a strong lean?
This is like the football slate?
Yes, for the football slate, correct.
I mean, Mahomes is the boring answer, but probably the right answer.
See, all right. Here's where
I think Rashee Rice is the correct answer today.
I was going to say he'd be the guy I'd say if it wasn't Mahomes and you want something a little different.
Yeah. Is it better as a general game theory thing to captain the wide receiver and, assuming you're going with some sort of wide receiver QB stack, or do you QB at captain? Does it matter? Is it situational? Is this a thing, TJ?
It's very situational. It's from more often than not, it depends, but more often than not, the quarterbacks will be the ones with the highest raw points projection. Mm-hmm. But on DraftKings, it's also a positional multiplier, and a salary multiplier. So if you're playing somebody really cheap, that means you get to load up on the expensive guys at your other positions. So it's about who projects well for their prices, who's got good ceiling for their prices, and then you just build your team accordingly. The most important thing for showdown to me personally is, does your lineup make sense? Does it tell a story? Are you saying, like, if the game goes this way, I have a really good chance of winning a GPP? That's to me what you have to look at. So in my Rashee, I have 3 lineups tonight. One is Rashee Rice captain, one is Xavier Worthy captain, just because he's super cheap, and then the other one is Lamar Jackson. But the nice thing with Jackson is, like, all the and Mahomes, they priced it really soft for week 1. So if you want to captain the quarterbacks, you can still basically full stack them with good players and not have to punt in your lineups.
Yeah. I love that idea of telling a story. I've really, really started to enjoy Showdown because I like that process of thinking through, like, a potential scenario and building my lineup around it, just like hand building it. I really do enjoy that. And I suppose when you're talking about captain and putting a quarterback there, it depends on the type of quarterback. Like, if you have a guy like Lamar Jackson who can run for 2 touchdowns and 100 yards, but maybe won't throw for 300 or 400, he makes more sense at the QB spot, whereas at the captain spot, whereas Mahomes could spread it out a little bit more, not get there with his legs. Maybe you pick a receiver there. I don't know.
His receivers are also cheap enough, though. You can literally play Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy if you just want to fade Kelsey because he's the only expensive one, and still have salary remaining to, like, play kickers or third receivers as opposed to a full punt.
Right. Okay. Carty, any thoughts on that? I was just kind of rambling there.
No, I mean, I agree. I mean, generally speaking, the running quarterbacks are going to do better, but Mahomes is Mahomes. Like, they're the most pass-heavy team in football. He can always throw for 4 touchdowns. The ceiling is there for Mahomes.
Right. Fair enough. Okay, let's see what else we've got. Andrew says, back to baseball, gentlemen. Outfielder position, 4-3 left, TJ. He didn't say what site. I'll assume DK, 4-3 left.
Adolis Garcia,
very good. What else do we have? Power pointing out last time Baltimore, Kansas City played, Pacheco outscored Mahomes in fantasy points. Okay. Hey, it's worth noting. I freaking love Pacheco. He's just so fun to watch. What do we got? FanDuel single entry Carty. Low or Lau, I never know. And Vierling, or
what's the first name? Is that Nate?
He didn't give it. He didn't give one. You'll have to do the math. Low and Vierling, or JT and Laureano.
I mean, JT Laureano is the better combo, but it will also probably be higher owned. So kind of depends on the rest of your lineup. Do with that what you will.
Okay. TJ pointing out the other Lows and Laus and Louis already played today. So.
Already played, yeah. I wasn't sure if there's one more on tonight.
Yeah, who knows? There's like 7 of them. You never know. Blink 182 says TJ, large field DK tournament is a Padres Tigers game stack with Carty's favorite pitchers going to be different enough and good enough to win it all.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Very nice. FanDuel NFL Showdown. Let's see. I'll give this one to Carty. Could it be a 2-kicker lineup that wins it all?
Yeah, I have a lineup with 2 kickers in it.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like that works with like crappy teams more so. Teams that like are incapable.
No, I mean
scoring
putting
touchdowns.
a kicker in a captain position would be you'd need to be crappy teams, but I mean they're 5K a piece. Bucker's less than that. 2 field goals and they could be optimal.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. What else? We got Dean's official dongs coming in. By the way, we're 10 minutes until lock. Keep those questions coming because if the questions dry out, I'm gonna go eat dinner, and that's what we're gonna do. Dean's official dongs: Matt Olson, Joe Adele, and Taylor Ward. Those are the dongs. Eric Johnson says, TJ, how do you feel about Carson Steele for 300 as captain? That seems insane.
Yeah, it's no need to do that. You can play him, but not a captain.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. We have answered most of the questions. Eric says, somehow I missed pitcher. You cool with Bradford and DK Cash, Carty?
Yeah, he's kind of my preferred option with Lopez.
Okay. Carty, I'm not sure if you saw we're doing this competition at RotoGrinders and at Better Collective, like a pick'em, and then we also have a survivor. Do you have a strong lean as you look at week 1 who your survivor pick would be?
I actually am not doing any survivor this year. I haven't looked. I don't have don't have an option. I do think well, I mean, I haven't looked enough, but I think Atlanta has a better chance of winning than the market thinks. So I might do Atlanta. I think they're very strong this week.
Well, we don't have to get crazy week 1 here. You know, we can
I don't think it's that crazy.
Okay, all right. TJ, do you have a strong survivor lean here? This is a personal question for me because I want to win this league and prove the weatherman can get some shit done.
Maybe Seattle.
Okay, I went Cincinnati. I don't even know who they're playing. Someone terrible, I think.
Usually you should know who they're playing if you're going to pick them, just as a suggestion.
Doesn't it like not, correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't it like not start till week 2?
No, I think you're wrong. I think it starts in week 1. Yeah, I think
I need the link to this because I want to be in it too.
Yeah, I'll link you. I got you. Yeah, I always enjoy those types of things very much. And I feel like the bar for me is very low. No one expects anything from the weatherman. So like if I can just do decent, yeah, it looks good. What else do we have? We got a couple more questions that came in. Here we go. DK. Let's see. TJ, Cruz or Turner?
Cruz for the salary, Turner straight up.
Okay. Mr. Irrelevant. This is a football question here. Oh, the Bengals play New England, by the way. New England sucks.
So
I don't even.
Bengals would be a pretty good choice.
Yeah. I don't even know who New England's quarterback is.
Jacoby Brissett.
Is Brissett? Okay. All right. Let's see. Well, yeah, that's true, Eric. You know, it's if the bar is high. Let's see. Is Deontay Hardy Carty playable in DK Showdown at Flex? I don't know who that is.
He's a Baltimore receiver who's like way down the depth chart. I mean, anyone's playable, but he's not like, I think he's like 800 if I remember. Like he's not like cheap. And I think there's a decent chance Tylan Wallace is ahead of him and Hardy like sees the field like for 2 snaps.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong. I mean, it's week 1. We don't know these things, but
he's a tiny little punt returner guy. So like he'll only be on the field for like some type of gimmick, and he might get a gimmick screen pass that he runs for 50 yards, but like he'll probably get 1 or 2 of those and not see the field the rest of the time on offense.
Yeah, right. But maybe that's enough. Let's see if we've got any more questions here. Here we go. We got another one. Perez or Bradford, Carty, in a FanDuel GPP? Perez or Bradford in a FanDuel GPP?
Bradford.
Okay. Jerry says, TJ, which 3 wide receivers get the most routes ran for Kansas City tonight? Rashee Rice, the other guy.
Rashee Rice.
Worthy, probably. Although it's worth noting that they had said they wanted to work Worthy in slowly to start the year. With Brown out, they're probably not going to be able to. But like, I do think there is a little more downside with Worthy than some people think. But he's probably number 2.
Okay.
Worthy 2, Justin Watson 3.
Yeah.
Mecole Hardman 4.
All right. Very good. Let's see if we've got any more questions. By the way, we do have more content coming up here, so stick around. Andrew Martinez says, Carty, full or mini stack against Perez? Full or mini stack against Perez?
Sure.
Yeah. All right. We're not against that.
No, I mean, the Tigers are cheap tonight. They project decently. I'm fine with even a full stack if that was kind of what the question meant.
I think it was. Yeah. All right. Let's see. What is your favorite stack, Carty? And is there such a thing today? He says, or is there even such a thing today with such a small slate?
Yeah, I think it's Philly. The top four are all going to be, it looks like, similarly owned, and I think Philly's better than them. So I like Philly.
Okay. TJ, are you in agreement there?
Yep.
Okay. Very good.
And then if he has a best cheap stack, I would say Washington.
Okay. Great. Guys, we have answered all the questions, and we do have more content coming up here. We've got a pre-lock show, a little over an hour. We're going to let the production crew grab a bite, go home, kiss some babies, and then they got to get right back on the grind. TJ, are you on?
It's me. I'm production crew for that one.
Well, then I'm going to let you get out of here, eat some food, kiss some babies. That is appropriate for you. That worked out well. We're going to bounce on out of here, guys. We, of course, are going to get more content coming your way in just a little bit. But in the meantime, for Carty, for TJ, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes, guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you later on tonight. You have been crushed.